Hi everyone, glad to have you back. Another Friday and another channeling with higher perspectives. So, last week we wanted to know from you guys if you had any questions that you wanted answered by our team. And in this channeling, you will learn a lot about what is energy healing, is it easy, is it difficult, can anyone do it, how it is done, and are there people who are walking this beautiful earth with zero trauma left? Have fun. There is a lot of light around this question, but also a lot of darkness. When you ask about healing, you always think from a place of sickness or not being healed. Why is that? We prefer you to think of yourself as being able to move in and out of a fully healed condition. Well, knowing on earth you are already perceiving different stages of duality throughout your day. Naturally, your body will be more fully in alignment and less fully in alignment throughout the day. Then your personal bodies, your spiritual and emotional bodies, also your physical, of course, is inclined to be sometimes drawn to a specific dual condition, expressing a different feeling for you to go through, work through. And this also always triggers the state of awareness that leads to your awakening process. So please know that when you perceive a condition where you feel this is difficult, this is my pain, however it be physical or emotional, then this is something that is guiding you through to a place of awakening. That is not an obstacle for you to overcome or draw back in order to go on the right track in life again. It is your shining light. Often you need this, most of the time you need this, in order to realize and awaken. It's very much the same when you experience on earth conditions where you see this is going wrong. I'm not satisfied with my politicians. I'm not satisfied with my boss. I'm not satisfied with this behavior from my neighbor or whatever. This is then for you to realize how you want to set an example, how you want to express yourself in this world. And this very much concerns also the physical and emotional state of energy. Now, please, I await your questions eagerly. Oh, this is a lovely question. Yes, they are. Yes. And please don't use this as a excuse for you to be lazy and fall back into the feeling of, oh, well, I will never get there. Because you will. Mostly these people are at the end of a long line of experience on earth. Look at the elderly, shortly before coming home, before excarnating, right? They are in a state of zero resistance. They are awaiting the ultimate. They are awaiting the transition. So usually they have healed a lot of traumas, sometimes all of them. And so have you, if you think back on your life. There were little traumas, there were larger ones, there were ones that were reaching over to from another life to this life. And you have healed them and moved further along. Because sometimes the phase of an active healing, of a storyline that is present in your life, is not active all the time. It is closing at a particular point because there is a lot for you to do and you have chosen usually a lot to experience. And this can only be in a linear fashion. Sometimes there are multiple lines present, yes, but this is always a specific order. You cannot experience on Earth higher dimensional history, higher dimensional time, and also higher dimensional bodies. So how you move through on Earth is linear. And from a specific time, you have a specific learning. And when you've passed the learning or passed the time, it's closing down. So you do not naturally have the same learnings or traumas from a younger age in old age. You cannot, because this is just human development, human history, human evolution. You go through these phases, and these things can only happen at one specific point to you in your life. And if that window is closed, you cannot experience it. And as you say, you have such a wonderful healing, wonderful phrase on earth. Time is healing everything. And there is so much truth in this. Time is not healing everything, but you are through time. And sometimes when you put a lot of distance between an incident you call trauma, you realize a higher perspective. Sometimes you realize this quickly, and sometimes you need to put a lot of time in between yourself and the incident. Yes, there are people who have only one big incident in their life. They call this is my trauma. The rest I can deal with, but this is mine. And after a while, they feel they have healed it. There may be incidents then when they cause reoccurring trauma and take another few years to heal it, or a lifetime, or an additional lifetime, right? But yes, there are people who have done this. Yes, there are people who are content pretty much all the time because they have, as I said, little resistance to what is happening in life to them. They don't mind things coming and going. And this is a very important milestone for them. Not minding things to come either or go. So whatever happens in their life, they are fine with this. They just meet it in a presence that you can too, by the way. Whoever was asking this question, you can too. Well, zero problems is pretty much the same as we just said. What do you classify as a problem? What is this? A problem is something that you deem unable to deal with, or it's difficult for me to deal with. But why is it difficult? Why are you unable? This is resistance. This is not facing up, not telling yourself, okay, here's the incident, here's what's demanded from me, here's what I need to do. I can do it. Let's see how. Let's see who I can ask for help. Let's see what I need to do. Let's see who I need to negotiate with. Let's see who I need to say no to or yes. So what is a problem for you? Ask yourself. And why? Ask yourself. Yes, we feel we have answered this sufficiently. So, yes, I see. See, there is a desperation behind these questions. A real and honest desperation. And may we feel deep compassion with you. But also, please let us share. There is tremendous power in you. Tremendous power that you are only afraid to use, my love. Only afraid to use. When asking these questions, there is the vibration here already. I have tremendous power, but I'm afraid to use it again because in another life I may have misused it. So please, when you are in a compassionate state, please know that you cannot harm. And it is also harming yourself when being inactive, when withdrawing from the world. This is not sharing. And we tell this to everyone pre-incarnation. Not engaging with life, withdrawing from it, being in an immobile state, being in a closed off state is harm to yourself and others by not sharing your light, by not sharing your presence. So the first step to overcome this mindset is to realize that you're capable more than you think. Just take this as a given. I am capable of much more than I realize right now. And realize in both ways, like realizing in your mind, but also realizing in the world. Putting in action, yes. Okay, so energy healing is in itself a very complex task, like playing the harp. You would classify as being a very complex task. But when you have the skill, when you have put the energy in it, when you have put the love in it, the passion to learn it, to master it, it's doable. It can be done. And some people are naturally more good at it than others. It's the same with everything. Same with everything. Energy healing is not difficult for you all. Not at all. However, the more you have healed yourself, the more you are aware of energy and particles in the first place and how you use them, the easier it becomes. And there is a precondition again. So the more work you have done on yourself, the more love you have put in yourself, the more love you can put into others, the more love you can ignite in others. And please, there is always this misunderstanding that someone can fully heal another one. It is not done like this. Please know the only thing that can fully heal and transform in an instant is the primary force. This can destroy and reform and reclaim in an instant. Every other soul is using primary force to do that, is facilitating this, but needs your permission. Needs your permission. So someone has to come to an energy healer, or someone has to be open to be healed, and they deny this doing themselves. They are open for letting the other one have their teaching moment. So they are generously and graciously allowing you to feel, I can do this, I am a healer. When in reality, they can do this pretty much themselves. It's usually those people who go to energy healers that are basically healers. And those people who are energy healers or claim to be are wanting to become some. And by doing this, they share. They share how it's done. This all happens on a very subconscious level. And in hindsight, when you have the higher perspective, looking back on your life, having the life review, you will realize, oh, yes, I see now. In next life, you can be the healer and the other one. It's a never-ending cycle on Earth. Yeah, so how is energy healing done is probably your third question, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, it's very simple actually. It's feeling, or yeah, how you do it is pretty much up to you. You can feel it. Some people have this merging of senses, fully present in intuition, what you call intuition. It's a merging of senses, and it's not just the seeing, the feeling, so the connecting to the physical world senses, but all the other ones. And when you have this present and very much fine-tuned, you can feel where in the other one or where in myself is an imbalance, where is energy not rightly adjusted. And then you do this by movement, by voice tone, by thought, by inviting primal force to work. He's working, flowing through you because you are in a flow state then. And you allow the other, and the other one allows you, it's always mutual, to adjust force, becoming one. It's like fine-tuning an instrument where you have the C and you hit and play on the strings until the other instrument is fine-tuned to also play the C perfectly pitched. But how it's really done, it's depending on the one who is trying to do it and the other one who's allowing to do it. So some people, they issue healing, and they issue this in such a way that they meet out specific people who want to train in this particular healing. So if this is by sound, using their voice or using an instrument, these people will meet clients who wish to be healed and show training by sound, others by touch. It's different. You can do it in different ways. And isn't it so much fun to discover this for yourself? How do I heal? But in the end, it's primal force allowing you to be corrected or adjusted. It's like the flow of wood can become out of rhythm. It can become unbalanced sometimes, yes, through particles. But then when it meets the greater stream, it becomes readjusted again, naturally aligning itself. So, in the end, we're all healers. How does this resonate with you? As a channel who mainly teaches my clients that they are channeling themselves or that they all are capable of doing it, I like this a lot. And for me, it makes sense, it resonates. I know this can be hard to accept sometimes if you are a healer, to think that your clients are maybe not really the one who needs healing, but you're the one who wants to learn how to heal, and they're allowing you in this life to get there. This is raising a question, actually. Are they making them sick on purpose, or how does this all interplay? It just shows how interconnected we all are. I think it's incredible. The more you channel, or the more you dive deep in those spiritual questions, what you uncover is that we are so interconnected. It is really just one organism in the end. Very interesting. And yeah, the energy I wanted to speak a bit about. She called herself Mila in another channeling. She was here with us once or twice. And she comes from the Pleiades, I think, or she's connected to them. As usually, she is not a one consciousness. She is a merging of different consciousness or individual energies. But she is incredibly wise. She's extremely kind. She does understand the human condition so well. I think that at least part of her was incarnated once. And she's not a medic. She's not part of a medic team. She has stated this in another channel explicitly, but she obviously knows a lot about healing and energies. So when we invited those energies of the highest light, that know a lot about the human condition, she showed up again. And I'm so glad she did, because no one can explain things like she does. She has a very distinct voice, a very distinct way of looking at people, or the outlook, on humans in general. I love. And it's really helpful. There is a small part that I haven't shared in this channeling. I may share next week. Um, it's more about thunderstorms and how they help us aligning, and why Earth is so dried up at the moment and has so much fire energy. Is an interesting addendum. Let's see where it may fit in. And also wanted to thank the person who handed in the questions. So I think that was fun. So if you want to have your own questions answered, you can either book, of course, a whole session, or simply be okay with, have the answer public here on YouTube and hand the question in via email or chat. So yeah, that were the essentials. Let me see. In the beginning, she stated a lot that we are living, of course, in duality here, and moving in and out of a healed state. Several times in a day, we shift, our energy shifts, and we come closer to a fully healed condition. And then we shift again, maybe, or, energy it's not as fixed as we think sometimes. And then we open up to maybe a little bit of imbalance more. So it's good to think that healing can take place at any point. Healing can be done by yourself. Healing needs the awareness of energy and particles. Healing needs the mind that you're perfectly all right. Your soul is not sick, right? So your physical is going through something, showing you, helping you, being aware, becoming enlightened, or becoming, no, she didn't say enlightened. What did she use? Awakened. She said awakened. So when we go through things, obstacles of any kind, where we actually feel like, oh wow, this is heavy. I want not to deal with this anymore. I just want to be done with this. Then this is actually guiding you along the path of awakening. And that is something I haven't heard before. I haven't, looked at it like this, but it's really making sense. And yeah, I will have to let this sink deeper and work with this deeper. But I loved it because, yeah, I have plenty pain. And if this is leading me to more awakened states, then yes, please. Okay, I can deal with this. And maybe you can reframe your pain, or your trauma, or your problems in life a bit like this, and it's helpful for you. The other thing I wanted to touch upon was, oh, let me think. My brain is like a sieve these days. That was me and my menopause brain. No, I got it in the end. What was sitting with me was actually that the people who have zero trauma are those who are at the end of a learning journey, a story, the end of a life, usually elderly people who do not have any resistance anymore to what is happening. And I thought this is so brilliant. She gave us the two things that we need to do. Simply, don't mind anything from happening, neither something that is coming into your life and bringing you something like an opportunity to do something, a problem to solve, or not mind anything leaving your life, anyone, dying, or just simply leaving your life, a friend that isn't returning calls anymore, has moved away and contact has been becoming loose, not minding life changing in the end, maybe.
And when we have zero resistance, we are in a balanced state, and a balanced state is, of course, the foundation of any healing. So when we look at it like that, it's really not that difficult. I think she summed it up pretty well. And I don't have any questions after this, at least not right now. I have to think about this deeply because there were so many little nuggets in this. Um, I will read the transcript and I will work with this a little bit and sit with this basically. So, yeah, I can only encourage you if these were questions that you are dealing with right now or dealing from time to time, and who doesn't, then maybe this is a good opportunity, guys, to look at how well are you balanced. How are you right now in your life? Do you mind things happening? Do you mind things coming in or out of your life, losing things like material things also, you know? Since I don't have a normal job anymore and just rely on this mostly, I had to downgrade a lot. You know, I can't buy stuff without thinking anymore. I have to really look after myself and just live with what I have, but it does make me a happier person, I have to say. You know, not having stuff is also not having to worry about stuff. So these are my 2 cents about this channeling, basically. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. Write me an email if you like. Reach out if you want. Please like and subscribe, of course, because that is how we grow as small channels. And if you have any questions, just share them with this community or with us, and maybe they get answered in one of the next channelings. All right. See you soon. Bye.